And hello, Star Wars fans, and welcome back to another episode of the Zone TV Movie Entertainment with me, your host Jonathan. Once again, bringing you my thoughts and review for this week's episode of Maul Shadow Lord, episodes 4 and 5. Now, I have been a little critical towards this show, not because of the quality of the show, but more of the narration of the show, or where is it going and what's the purpose of this show, because we kind of already know what the roadmap leads for Maul. But I'll be lying if I didn't tell you what I am enjoying this show. I think the show is very good. I just don't think the show serves a real purpose of why do we need this show. So I wanted to get that out of the way. Just in case if you guys see my other videos and you guys are trying to figure out why I'm still talking about this show if I don't like it. I'm not trying to say I don't like this show. I'm just saying I don't understand the narrative of what this show's purpose really is. You know, it's just a piece of a puzzle that we already finished the puzzle. Oh, that we have to take a couple puzzles out of the puzzle that we already finished just to put this one in, just to make the picture look more prettier. Either way, still, I am enjoying this show. I just don't get why do it in the first place, but still, because we already know what's going to happen. But these two episodes are very, very good, and I can appreciate the story to it. So obviously, we all know at the end of the last episode 4, the police, detective or police officer, Larton, I think that's his name. He kind of messed up. He tried to go after Maul. He got into an ambush. His droid was like telling him, "Hey, it's gonna be an ambush." He deactivated him, which was a bad mistake. He reactivated him and he apologized, and then they became friends again. But then again, the droid kind of accidentally or purposely contacts the Empire, which is something that the police force and Lauren did not want. And because if the Empire shows up, court martials, all that stuff is going to happen to the planets, and was their worst nightmare. And it actually has come true. The Empire is now officially involved in this investigation. And of course, the first thing they do is start questioning the police force to see what they know. Maybe they're harboring fugitives. And when you have the Empire looking for a fugitive, and then you end up finding out there's more fugitives out there that they're looking for, it tends for them to get even more kind of like, okay, now we really need backup here. So the Empire shows up. They're looking for Maul. They're trying to figure out where he's at. Then they end up finding out that the Jedi are there, which are also technically wanted for murder because Execute Order 66. And, they decided to send out the Inquisitors, especially one Inquisitor who goes after everybody. And we get to see the Empire just continue their rampage to, start doing the whole show me identification, show me, who are you, all that. So interrogating people. We even get to see the police officer that we've been knowing so far. He gets interrogated, of course, and then, of course, it just goes from there. Then, in episode 5, now we're up to 5, because honestly, 5, the episode 4 ends with the Jedi and his apprentice both getting kind of stuck. They're trying to figure out a way to get out of there, and they end up getting help from Lawton's son, who went to go look for his father, but father is locked up. Then, of course, he had to call his mother. And then his mother, who works for the Empire, by the way, it's like, don't worry about it. Everything will be okay. So I guess they let him go. But then again, the Empire is very crafty. And the episode ends, for episode 4, it ends where he goes home. The officer goes home to see his son. And the Jedi are there. And then they start talking for episode 5. And they start talking about, we need to find a way to get off this planet because we're also wanted. And, with the Empire looking for Jedi, they're going to just kill them. Same thing with Maul. Just execute them, because honestly, they don't really want to capture Maul unless the Emperor orders it. They're serving to, sorry, there's something in my camera. They were serving them to be executed. But if the Empire says, capture Maul and bring him to me, then that's a different situation. And then, of course, the Inquisitor captures sorry, not captures. The Inquisitor goes to the officer's home, and then he finds the Jedi there. They start scrapping, and then all four of them, excuse me, including his son, they all become wanted. They all try to escape, and then of course, they kind of do the whole split up kind of thing, because there's only one person following them, and they start doing their thing. Then of course, the Inquisitor catches up to the girl Jedi. They start scrapping, only for Darth Maul to show up and save her. Now, in the beginning of episode 4, we find out that, she's like, well, why don't we just trust Maul? He's in the same boat as we are. His enemy's our enemy. Yes, we can't trust him because he's a snake overall, which is true. You really can't really trust Maul at any point, even if he's, you're thinking that, oh yeah, we can work together because we have a common enemy. He will stab you in the back, and it has happened before with Darth Maul. But yeah, I thought this episode was cool. The fact that Maul shows up right as this girl is fighting an Inquisitor on top of a moving speeder train thing, or a train as they call it. They just call it a train, I guess. Was cool. The fact that he shows up like a boss, that was great. And the fact that he starts fighting the Inquisitor's like not shocked at Maul's appearance, but kind of like, this is my lucky day. I get rid of you, and I get rid of the Jedi. 2-for-1 deal kind of a thing. They start scrapping. Then the Inquisitor puts on his double lightsaber, which is kind of cool. But then again, the master of the double lightsaber always belongs to Darth Maul. He puts on his, and they have a double dual lightsaber fight, which is actually really, really cool. And then it ends with the Inquisitor escaping and contacting, I would believe it was the Emperor he calls. So you don't really see who he talks to, the Inquisitor, through hologram. It could be him, or it could have been Darth Vader. Could have been one of them. But it looks like backup is coming. And with the Empire, that's not a good sign. So that means, because remember, there was only one Inquisitor. So that means another Inquisitor is going to show up, or maybe even 2 Inquisitors. There's always a couple of Inquisitors start showing up. Just like how we got it in Obi-Wan, where we had like, 3 Inquisitors? So we shall see what happens. Darth Maul is going to have his hands full with this because he's going to need some backup. I think the Jedi Master, I think he's going to die eventually, maybe by next week's episode. And then the girl is going to end up teaming up with Darth Maul, maybe join him, become the dark side, learn the dark side, just so she can try to survive a little bit longer to fight these guys. I don't think she's going to fully survive, or maybe she'll survive at the end, but we don't see her again, because they don't mention her in the other shows. And we know what happens to Darth Maul, so we shall see. But overall, a very good episode, 2 good episodes. I like the fact that the cop is now wanted now, even though he should have known that the Empire was interrogating him. And when they did the interrogation, they're like, yeah, you're free to go. Too easy. It was way too easy. And they were able to find out that he was kind of harboring fugitives, especially when the Empire found out that the Jedi was there. And yeah, although there was one scene where they tried to do the whole you don't need to see identification thing, did not work. It did work on the trooper, but another trooper came and asked the same question, like, why didn't you question these guys? So at least that was cool. And by the way, the clones now are wearing the stormtrooper outfits, so basically they're the stormtroopers now. So I thought that's great to see that. And they still using the Clone Wars ships that they always had, so they haven't fully changed those ships yet, but they will eventually. But yeah, more Inquisitors are probably on the way. Heck, maybe even Darth Vader shows up. I mean, that would be kind of cool. But we shall see what happens. So, leave me a comment below. Let me know what you guys thought about Maul Shadow Lord. Are you still watching it, not watching it? Gave up on it? You love this show? Whatever it is, leave me a comment below. Let me know. And what do you think is going to happen with Darth Maul? You think he's going to survive? Even though we already know he is. Whatever it is, leave me a comment below. Let me know. Stay tuned for more. Thank you very much. And may the Force be with you.